Hello and welcome to step 13. Within this stage we're going to do some freeform within Revit architecture. So just like before, open, stage 13, open. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is go to the view cube top right and press the top right button so that the building looks like this. Then we go to the massing and site tab in the ribbon. And then on the far left we have a button that says in place mass. I want you to click this button. From here you'll see a little warning message. Basically what this does is it shows you that the mass will be available and turned on in the visibility graphics. So you just press close and mass 1 is fine. You can press OK on that. So just to highlight to you that mass has been turned on in visibility graphics, if you press VG on your keyboard and then press M, you will notice that it's unticked. We want this ticked. So tick that and then press apply and then press OK. So to start creating our mass, it is advised that we set a working plane, and before we set the working plane it's always good to have it visible. So up here in your ribbon you have a show button, show working plane. And if you press it, you'll notice that it's actually on the ground floor. It's gone blue on my screen. Now if we set it with the other button beside it, and then if we hover over the rear wall, now again the easiest way to do that is actually go down to the bottom right hand corner and turn your set element by face on. Once you do that you'll be able to find it a lot easier. Once you find it, it will highlight blue around the sides. Then if you click once, you'll notice that the working plane that was blue on the ground is now set to that wall. To make it easier to sketch in 3D, if we go to our view cube and press the right hand button, once that view is set up we're going to start sketching. Now it's advised that you follow exactly what I do with regards to drawing. So in your ribbon at the top, if we choose the line tool and make sure that chain is marked, and I'd like you to start your sketch approximately here. Click once, then up at a very acute angle to about here, then along to the left but still at an acute angle to about here, then approximately just below the halfway mullion here, and then in a little bit to the right hand side to basically the ground floor, and then here. And then to finish the command, press escape. Now if we go back to our view cube and press the top left hand button, we'll be able to rotate the view. Now what we're going to do is we're going to offset this grid line. So if we go to set, and then if we choose grid line 3 in our options bar, you'll notice the working plane has jumped to grid line 3. Now if you're still in the drawing tool, you'll have a crosshatch as a mouse. Press escape so you get back to a normal cursor. Go to the lines that we've just modelled. Select it with your mouse and then tab to get all 4 lines. And from here we're going to copy these lines. So go up to the top, near around in the middle to the left, press copy. Then where the paste button is, press the down menu. Then press align to same place. A warning will come up telling you that there are lines in exactly the same place, but that's okay, we'll just ignore that for the moment. Then go back up to the options bar where it says basic wall exterior. We're going to change that to grid 3, and you'll notice that our copied lines have jumped to grid 3. Now from here we're going to want to select all the lines that we've modelled. So if you hover over the previous lines, press tab twice to select all of them, then press Control on your keyboard and then click on your mouse. All lines are selected. Now just like before, you can double check with the filter button at the top and it says you have 8 lines selected. Now from here we're going to create a mesh that wraps around the building. So if you go up to your ribbon and then press the create form button, we're going to create a solid form, so click once on that and you'll notice a mesh has been created on all sides. Now from here, if you go back to your view cube and press the front button, you'll notice that our model has shifted to the side. Now from here we can actually edit each face. So if I hover over this top face here and click once, you'll notice that I have some pull handles. So I'm going to select the red and then drag to the left to approximately halfway between the two vertical windows on the left. Now not only can we do faces, but we can do lines and points. So if you click in negative space and then go down to the bottom left hand side of the mesh that we've created, we're going to move an individual point. So once you highlight it, click once and you can see your cursor to pull up, down, left and right, or diagonal. But if we select the red line and pull to the right, and if we leave it pretty much just in line in the curtain wall and then let go of your mouse, the next thing we're going to do is move this little point here on the bottom right. So if you select that point, now you can see that we have two right angles which are orange. That allows you to go up and down at 45 degrees, etc. So if I select the top one and then drag it down to approximately where the first floor level is within the curtain walling, and then let release on our mouse. We can also add edges to this mesh. So if we just rotate with our steering wheel, so it looks approximately like this, and then press the X button on your steering wheel to close it. So if we then go up to the ribbon, we have an option here to add edge. So if you click that, then go down to your mesh, click the bottom left hand corner once, then move your mouse over to the next corner, and you can see on my screen as well as yours there's a dotted line to show you where that edge is going to be placed. So then click again and you'll notice we have different faces. Another way of adding edges is making sure that your cursor is a normal cursor and not a crosshatch, so escape that. And if you hover over the mesh, this particular one on the front side of the view cube, and then right click, you can actually go up here and hover over add edge, click once, and your edge button, or your edge tool should I say, will become visible. So we're going to add one more edge from corner to corner, so bottom left of this mesh all the way up to the top right of this mesh, and we now have two additional faces on that mesh. Again, press escape once just to get back to your cursor. Okay, so from here I would like you to rotate your view cube so you're on the back side edge, which is this view. Zoom in a little bit. Now we can also move individual lines, so if you hover over the very bottom line of your mesh on this side of the project, once you've found it, click on your mouse and with the little red arrow click once and then drag it to approximately under the third window on the right. Once you've done that, release your mouse button. The next edge we're going to move is this far left edge, so select the edge and with the red arrow click once and again drag it to about the middle of the third window and then release. Once you've done that, click in negative space and then go down to the bottom left edge point, go down to the bottom left point, click once and again select the red arrow, click once and then drag along so it's around about here, so it's a thinner bottom than it is at the top. Now from here I want you to click in negative space so nothing is selected, and with your steering wheel I want you to rotate the model so it looks approximately like this. Alternatively, if you go to your view cube and press the top corner between the left and front side. Now the next part we're going to do is add some voids to this mesh. So let's set the working plane. So let's press show first to make sure that it's definitely on. Then press the set button, and what we're going to do is we're going to hover over this little wall with the three windows and click once, and you can see it goes a light blue but it's green because of the wall is slightly yellow. Once you've done that, I would like you to set the view to front on your view cube. Now again with the line tools we're going to create some voids first, so we're going to create some shapes and then cut it from the mesh. So if we choose our rectangle tool and we're going to draw a vertical rectangle pretty much between the far right long vertical window and the curtain wall. So pretty much from here all the way down to about here, and we want it to be about 80 centimeters. So if you can actually just manually get there, at the moment I'm getting 1, so if I select it, but I actually can change it, so once you highlight this individual line your temporary dimensions arrive. So if I change this to 0.8, and then once I've done that I'll press in negative space. Now once you've drawn that rectangle, if you select it so all 4 lines are highlighted, your user interface will go back to green, and we need to choose the rotate tool, which is pretty much bang on the middle. Once you do that, you'll notice that a rotating option comes straight from the central pivot. That's actually okay, but if we zoom into the middle and then click on the top midpoint and rotate it approximately 30 degrees, you can do this manually or type it into your temporary dimensions. Once that's rotated by 30, we're going to create a void mesh. So at the very top I want you to press create form, but then we're going to press void form. Once you do that, you'll notice it goes yellow with orange lines. So if we rotate our model slightly, you will see that an orange form with a blue face is highlighted. Now when the blue face is highlighted, you'll get the pull lines, the pull axes. I want you to select the green axes, click once, and then drag to the back of the building so it cuts our form. Now we also want it to cut a bit of this mesh on the front hand side of the view cube. We want to cut it this side. So if you hover over one of the lines and press tab until you get the face, it was actually 3 times I pressed tab. Once you do that, select it, and again I want you to highlight the green axes and pull it towards you so it cuts this face as well. Now from here I want you to rotate the view. So on your view cube I want you to press the top left hand corner on the left side of the view cube, and then the back face of the view cube. Now our aim is to actually cut this very thin slice. So if we rotate just a little bit to make sure that we get all sides selected, hover over one face and press tab once to select all sides of this mesh, then press the back side of the cube again, and what we're going to do is we're going to just move the whole thing with the move tool slightly to the middle of that mesh so that we have a bit of much of a diagonal line through this thin side of the mesh. Now once that's done, we're going to duplicate this void 5 additional times. So I'd like you to rotate the view cube so that we're on the front side. Zoom in a little bit, and if we press the copy tool, which is pretty much in the middle up here in your ribbon, select that. Now make sure in your options bar that multiple is ticked. So once you do that, you'll notice that the void is kind of not showing, but there's a blue dotted line indicating where it is. So if we zoom into pretty much this corner here, click once. Now drag your mouse pretty much well out of the drawing, so it's pretty much 52 meters away. Now what I want you to do is press 7.0 on your keyboard about 5 times. So 7.0, then enter, and you'll notice a new cut has turned. Then 7.0 again, and then enter. Then again 7.0, enter. And again 7.0, enter. Then one more time 7.0, enter. You'll notice that we've cut the mesh 5 times. Once you've done that, I'd like you to press escape. Now as you can see on mine, the mesh hasn't totally been cut at the bottom. That may not be the case in your model, but I would like to tighten it up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is hover over this particular mesh, press tab until I get the bottom face, then I'm going to pull it down a little bit more, and then I'll do exactly the same on this mesh. So find that face of the mesh, pull it down a little bit, and if I press my front side of the view cube, I can see that my mesh has been cut from top to bottom. Okay, so I'm now happy with the void cutting of the mesh. Everything looks okay. From here, I'm actually going to finish the mask, so press the big green tick on the right hand side of your green user interface. Once you do that, you'll notice the mesh has totally been cut, and we'll get a little warning which is ignorable for now, so don't worry about that. So then press in negative space and you'll be able to see the mesh that we've created. Okay, so our next stage is to add some curtain walling to this mesh. So by doing that, if we go to the Massing and Site tab, and under the section Model by Face, we're going to choose Curtain Wall. Now it's important to know that before you place the curtain wall, that in your Properties palette, the wall that we're going to use is Solar Protection MPK. So that's correct on mine, it should be correct on yours. Once you do that, we're going to select all the faces. So click once, then with the Control key, press again, 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 and again. So once everything's selected, which it is, I want you to press at the very top Create System. Once you've done that, you'll notice that our curtain walling has mullions around all cut sides. To escape that, to exit this, I'd like to press Escape once. Now it's important to remember that our mass is still visible. So to turn that off, if we go up to the Massing and Site tab, you'll notice on my screen that it says Show Mass, Form and Floors. If I press the down button on that and then Show Mass by View Settings, you can notice that it actually hasn't turned off. So if we press VG, Visibility Graphics, then press M, you'll notice that it's actually still ticked. So if we deselect it and press Apply, you will only see your curtain walling. Now, to have more of a better graphic visual of this mass, if we go down to our graphic options bar and highlight on the blue cube and then press Realistic, it may take a little while to load on your screens, and if you zoom in a little bit over your mesh, you'll notice that it's actually lots of little holes in the realistic view. Okay, so that concludes step 13. I would like you to close this window and do not save, as you may want to do it again.